Okay, I think we are live. You could shut that door if you want, so she's not in the background. All right.
Ain't doing better.
See if we can get some online first here. Alright, well, at least we got David on there, so. Wow, that screen is really big. Sorry, let me shrink that down. Alright. Looks like we're a go. Alright, so today we are going to be talking about safe loading and unloading. Before we jump into that, though, I am going to do a review on last week's. What was last week's topic?
Pre-trip, post-trip.
Pre-trip, post-trip. So I just took a few of the questions out of there. We're not going to do all of them, just do a few of them. So number 1 here. You want to check the following belts for snugness. Up to 3/4 inch play at the center of belts, cracks, or frays in which of these? All of them is correct, yes. Alright, true or false, when checking steer tire tread depth, someone other than a mechanic, you should have depth no less than 4/32 of an inch. What? True. True or false, brake chamber, brake drum, and brake hose should be checked in the engine compartment, driver fuel area, or driver door fuel area, and trailer.
Chambers, brake drum, and brake hose should be checked in the engine compartment. There is no brake drums in the engine compartment. There's the front tire in there.
Well, that's what it's asking. That engine compartment area when you do your post trip or pre and post trip. True. All right. Yes. Poorly worded.
Very. Wait a minute.
All right. On the brake lining, there should be at least what of an inch of friction material?
1/4 inch. Yeah, 1/4 inch.
Yes, 1/4 inch. When checking the drive tire, the tread and sidewall should have no abrasions, bulges, or cuts, and the tread depth should be no less than what of an inch? 2/32. Well, look at you go, Chad. All right, true or false? You will not get credit if you simply kick the tires or strike the tire with a mallet or similar device. To check for proper inflation, you must use a tire gauge. True. Yes. Okay, simple review.
Let's stop you right there for a second.
Okay.
I've got a question before I forget it. This is for mechanics. You guys were talking about 5 for the second class.
Mm-hmm. So the law says 2. We want to pull them at 5 because that way we can still use the casing.
That's what I was wondering about. Because I looked that up and I thought, well, maybe they changed it and I just didn't know about it.
That is so we can save money.
So then, was that
Is there
question for
sound
the DOT
online?
or was that question for us?
For you guys.
Okay.
As far as DOT.
I'm just double checking their sound online here still. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we will jump into our actual topic for today, which is, everybody, safe loading and unloading. So, these are pretty much the key driver behavior safety elements. I'm going to kind of go through them real quick. There's not a lot to it. It looks like a lot, but I promise it's not. So basically, you want to make sure you guys are trained and authorized to load at the locations you're loading at. This includes producer-specific orientations like Devon, Chesapeake, and Samson. You want to make sure you're following the rules at the site. If you're uncertain in any processes of specific sites, make sure you're reaching out to someone and asking for help and clarification. This includes API standards. We have a learning from incidents from yesterday. We have driver choose not to use API standards. He did a load line sample instead and hauled 44 barrels of water. We pay market price for the oil right now, and that's $41 a barrel, plus $1.10 a barrel for the disposal fee, plus the fuel and dropping that whole load. So the 15 minutes the driver chose to cut and not do that proper procedure cost all of us as a company over $3,000. So we need to follow those API standards, follow those proper procedures, and we need to do things right. Moving on from that, make sure you have all your documents that are required in your trucks. Use your approved and required PPE. We talk about that pretty much every single week, I think. Secure your vehicle, chalk your wheels, ground your trailer. This is all pretty much, again, those simple things you do in your day-to-day operations. Make sure you're attending your controls. Oh, sorry, skipped one. All your valves need to be in the proper position to receive product. Make sure nothing's closed. You have it all open. Don't overload your vehicle. Obviously, you guys are pretty familiar with that as well. Again, make sure you're attending your controls, making sure the equipment is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Be ready in case something does malfunction to shut it down. Ensure no valves are in an open position that could pose a potential release of a product. Make sure you remove all your distractions and concentrate fully on what you're doing. After loading, walk around your vehicle to check all the equipment is disconnected properly and all your valves are closed and sealed so you're not spilling crude down the oil or production water or down the highway. If you're unsure in any aspect, again, seek help, ask advice. We're here to help each other. And last but not least, if it does arise, apply that stop work policy if you identify any unsafe behavior or conditions. Unloading is pretty much those same basic things. So we want to make sure you're trained and authorized for those locations that you're going to. Follow the rules at the site again. If you're uncertain about anything, ask for some help. Make sure you have all those documents. You use your PPE. Check the levels on your tank to make sure you have enough free space to unload your tank into. All valves in this case need to be in the proper position to unload any product. Double check all your connections. Make sure you have everything ready to unload. Make sure you're attending your controls. Make sure the equipment, again, is going to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. And then the same things again. If you're unsure in anything, ask for help and use that stop work authority. So pretty simple and straightforward topic today. Sal's got a topic here for us. I'll let you have it. And right before he goes, I'm also going to throw in our safety focus word for those of you online. Safe procedures prevent incidents.
Okay. The recent history here, what we've had is a lot of trucks going the D rate. And I think we kind of figured out one of the main reasons, but I mean, there's always going to be reasons, but one of the main we saw is the regen process. And what it's come down to is people either not knowing or not understanding or not paying attention. Either way, and it's on both sides, shop as well as drivers. So to confront that, what we've come up with is a little slideshow here of what we're after as far as some of the issues. Now, a regen occurs when soot builds up in the diesel particulate filter. The engine's not allowed to breathe. If you have something on your neck, you can't get a good breath of air. You start to lose, steadiness, balance. Kind of the same thing. If the engine can't get enough air, it won't breathe right, and that's where you have issues. The regeneration process, the cycle, essentially cooks the filter clean. It exceeds over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So when it does that, what it does is it breaks all the soot up, and that's what clears your filter out. The regen button, for the most of the trucks in question here, this button on the far left here is the regen button. When that heist light is on, and that's that light you saw in the beginning there, that symbol, that's the heist, and it's on the button as well. When that comes on, that's usually when it starts the process. That button should be on. There's no reason to have that off. That's what keeps your truck recycling while it's going. If it is off, it'll try, and then it'll stop. And it'll try again, it'll stop, and it'll try again, it'll stop, and then pretty soon it just goes into D-rate. And it lets you know that the diesel particulate filter is plugged up enough to where it can't breathe at all. You'll lose power, you'll lose any kind of reaction for the motor, and eventually it'll go into D-rate, and you'll have about a top speed of 40 miles an hour if you're lucky. And it'll get you for a ways, and then it'll eventually just stop. When that happens, you generally need to be towed, and again, costs us a lot of money. That's why we're trying to get this taken care of now. Along with this, that button constitutes a manual regen, meaning we're taking care of that. We're allowed to do that. If the light comes on, that hoist light comes on, and it's got a temperature signal with it, means that button just needs to be hit, turned on. You can keep moving while that's going. If it comes on and it flashes, that's when you need to stop, and that's called the park regen. You need to stop, put it neutral, get comfy, and hit the button because it's going to be a while. Again, that's the price that's paid when things aren't taken care of. The other side of it too, like I said, is when you don't do that and it does go into derate, then you're done for the day. So that's why we're trying to go over this now to alleviate that whole situation. And again, this is what I was talking about when that temp signal comes on with that. Generally, you just need to you can keep driving with the temps on above it, so we can go into regen and keep the engine. Now, again, when it does this, the RPMs need to stay up, at least above 2,000 for at least 15 minutes, and then it'll kick off. It'll rise up and it'll kick down by itself. So that's how you do that for that part. Like I said, if any of the lights come on, that's going to be for the park regen. This means stop the unit, put it neutral, push in the regen button, and prepare for a wait for about 40-45 minutes. Well, the sorry is not really for me, it's just in general.
So then, you just said that's got to be over 2,000 RPM, that starts malfunctions in there, and it's got to regen, we have to stop, we got to keep that truck over 2,000.
No.
That's for a mobile.
That's for a mobile one. You have to keep moving.
Okay.
And again, any of those that come on, again, if you're lucky, you're on the road when it happens. If not, you need to either keep moving or you can choose to keep going. You can pull over, do your load, whatever. Again, it's going to come on again, and that's what you need to try. Now, if you're in the middle of doing something and you can't stop, or you have to stop, that's fine. It'll shut off and it'll come on again. After that, you might start getting that blink, and that's when it's going to tell you either you need to stop or I'm going to stop. So you got a little bit of leeway in there, but again, a lot of times what's happened in the past is that button has never been turned on. So when guys leave here, they get out there, it clicks on, clicks off, and we get a call. Hey, that light come on, or we don't get a call. Then nothing happened, and then when we do get a call, it's going to derate. That light flashed a couple times. Like, I know exactly what it is, but you didn't know, and that's okay in the past. Now that's why we're confronting that. So if that HES light comes on, and again, that's what it's called, it's a HES light. I didn't know that either. So the HES light comes on, that's when you need to be aware that either soon or now I need to make a decision on what we're going to do here, because it is inevitable that it will shut down.
Okay, I've been through a couple of these regen classes before in prior companies for this, but I can't remember all that shit. There's too much to remember.
Sure.
Keep brain. Now, those switches on there. Now, I've gotten into a few trucks where those switches were off. I just turn them on because I know they're not supposed to be off. But those switches are three-stage switches. There's a rocker at the top, and there's an on position, and there's an off position. So when we have to manually do that, we just push into the rocker position, push it in, and let it go.
Push and hold until it starts.
It'll either beep or it'll flash.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta push and hold it. It's that way so you don't accidentally bump it and then try and force it to go regen. That's not gonna complete.
Okay.
Push and hold.
And that's when you hear the it'll start to idle up,
Yeah.
down and up and down, and then the upside on these buttons, it'll flash, or that light will flash, and it'll shut off, and that's when you'll know. So.
I have inadvertently hit that button reaching for the one next to it as well.
Yep.
And if you hit that and turn it off, most of these trucks, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of the ones that I've been in will actually throw a warning up telling you that you have disabled it.
Yep.
So it tells you right on the dashboard that you shut it
Regen
off.
inhibited due to switch.
Yep.
And that's why I want to try and confront this now, because again, with us being here, we can talk about it. That this has happened, we're aware of it. For the guys that aren't here, I need them to be aware that if in fact you have seen this in the past and you didn't know what it was, now you can be more aware. If you never saw this at all, now when it comes up, now you can be aware. So again, the whole point of this, bring this up, isn't to point fingers at mistakes have been made. They've been made on both sides. What we're trying to find is a resolution here, and that's why I wanted to bring it up so that we're all on the same page. Because we don't work unless you work. You don't work unless we work. That's how it's got to work here. So.
Well, I thank you for this. I've been here almost 4 years, and we have never had any mechanic out there and tell anybody what that regen was for and how to work it.
Somebody should actually have the directions on the right.
And that's where the class that I've been through is, they make you sit through a shop orientation, and they make you watch either whatever kind of truck you're driving, whether it be Peterbilt or Kenworth or International or anything the truck. They make you sit through a video on how to work the regen. Plus, that's half a year, so that's probably a good thing.
And Caterpillar's by far the worst because if you strike out after 3, they shut you down. It's after a code reset. That's a guaranteed code. But things, we only have 2 cats in there.
Yeah, they don't have death.
They don't have after treatment.
Well, that's why they're not doing it over the road anymore.
No, they're not doing them because of that.
We had a question come up here. Francisco, he asked, say that the mobile heist light comes on the dash, and when we do flip the switch, how do we know when it's completed the regen cycle? Like I said, when it comes on and you hold that button and it flashes or beeps, whatever, and it clicks on, that motor will rev up, and it'll rev down, and rev up, and rev down. Again, it's going to be a while. And the reason being, it's got to get over 2,000 degrees. That's how it cooks all that stuff out of that diesel particulate filter. When it stops, that light will come on. Usually on these trucks, it'll flash about 3 times. And then it'll beep, and then you'll know. The idle will come back down, and you'll be just like it was before you started. So that's how you know.
It should come up telling you not to shut it off until it's had a chance to cool down.
Well, again, the other side of it, too, is when you're in that process, don't touch anything. You don't want to bump anything. Don't turn your stereo up and down. Just get yourself set, hit your button, and get comfy. Because if you bump into gear, or you take it neutral, you turn the lights on, you hit the brake, your flashers, your wipers, anything, it might set that off again, and then it'll shut down, and you have to wait again. So again, the reason I'm trying to push that stuff, not to freak anybody out, is to end this process as soon as possible so you can keep moving. Because again, that's the price of it getting to this point is when that happens, you're done for 40 to 45 minutes. But when it comes back up, you'll be good to go. Now, if you keep passing it, maybe I can just get that one more load and push it, and it goes into derate before that last one, well, now you're done. So, again, the odds of that happening are minimal, especially now that we can see this. You guys can confront it ahead of time. You lose a little bit, but you'll gain a lot more in the end. And that's what we're after, is trying to keep you guys up and going. Because it's the worst in the world when you guys call, and then we have to send someone out, because now you're down waiting for us to get there, and then try to figure out what the issue is. If we can help you alleviate the situation yourselves in the field, again, it's going to save us time to stay here in what we're doing, and save you time and not have to wait for us to get out there. So that's the goal. I think that's all I have. Unless there's any other questions. Okay, thank you.
Kyle, do you want to 2 tires?
Sure.
You don't have to. I mean, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, just. Hey, you filled the notes.
Okay. So Kyle sent out an email about this morning already. I'm just gonna basically reiterate it here. This picture here is caused by running for a long period of time with less than 80 pounds of pressure. Every tire should have 100 pounds. It's your guys' responsibility to make sure this doesn't happen. You should be checking your air pressure regularly. His email had a form attached to track your tires more efficiently. And there's also those forms that he attached in that email down in the driver's room as well now. This expectation has been made clear in weekly notes, weekly updates, and weekly safety meetings. Yet it's continuing to happen. The shop is going to be conducting random checks, so please do not let yours be the truck that is found subpar. That's pretty much all we have for ops notes today. So,
need a pressure gauge or a tread depth gauge, you can get one from Casper Supplies.
okay, Casper Supplies has the tread depth gauges, and the pressure gauges. Anything else? Jason has something.
There's now a new Gold Hat opening on day shift, and the roster is on Kyle's door. So whoever wants to sign up for it and interview for it, it will be on Kyle's door.
All right.
Kyle, do you want to talk about the load line sampling that just passed us
That's what I was just asking. Did you do that?
I already did that, yeah. Way to join the meeting, Gilby. It was actually incorporated in our safety meeting today. So, I also have one more thing. We have our reports. Robert, do you want to kind of explain
Basically,
what the report
that's
is?
just that's the list of folks who, so far for the month of July, have 0 violations.
0 violations. So we're day 28 of July with 0 IVMS violations at all. I meant to just type these on the screen so we didn't have to read through them, but I'm going to read through them anyways because I forgot to put them in there. So 0 violations for the entire month so far. We have Devin Martin, Cody Gowers, Seb Wood, Michael Booth, Todd Eidenschink, Chris Hudson, Francesco Baruffi, Chris Wilson, Mike Gore, Scott Rathman, David Marquis, Casey Peterson, James Klein, Josh Lindsay, Merv Mills, Stephen Salway, Aaron Davenport, and Justin Forney. So awesome. Kudos to you guys. You rock. And that is all we have, I believe, for today.
Right there, good maintenance.
Yes? All right. That'll do it. Thanks, guys. Have a safe week. We will see you next week.
What's funny is the 2 drivers that are in the meeting were on the list.
Well, that's because she didn't go the opposite